America is the greatest country in the world, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. But first, let's start with a little bit of history. The United States was formed in 1776 when the Continental Congress decided there was a new nation being formed, whether England liked it or not. Formerly a British colony, America was going to break free of colonial rule and blaze their own trail. The battle for independence was a long, bloody, and arduous one against the British government, but the colonial forces fought valiantly and ultimately beat back the Redcoats and finally declared victory in 1783. With a total casualty count of 50,000, Americans truly paid the ultimate sacrifice to obtain their freedom. The United States of America was a haven for those looking to escape religious and racial persecution, most of which they were receiving from the heavily Catholic English monarchy. As the country grew into its independence, it became an industrial powerhouse, exporting raw goods, food products, and other goods, exporting largely tobacco and cotton to growing and first world countries. As Americans, we have maintained our ability to export goods and services. Nowadays, we do a lot more services and not quite as much hard and soft goods, but there does seem to be a push to increase industrial production as far as U.S. produced hard and soft goods. So hopefully manufacturing will continue to grow. That's not to say that America is not without fault. Unfortunately, culturally and industrially, we adopted slavery and allowed it to continue for far too long. The Southern culture continued this racist institution for longer than the North, before eliminating slavery ultimately. We have since attempted to atone for the sins of our forefathers and provide opportunity for all race, color, and creed. Furthermore, I gotta say, America is one of the top 20 education systems internationally, and when you compare the taxation cost relative to the education that is received, it's probably more like a top 5. The United States affords all of its citizens in the various socioeconomic levels the right to pursue education with grants and public financing, allowing them to continue education into higher academia, such as university and master's programs. Another point to America's desire to see its citizens succeed is, especially in education, is the prevalence of the GI Bills for college and university. Effectively, if you were active duty, or if you are active duty in the armed forces, you will get a deeply discounted education. Now, it's not just education that I believe we excel at, but also the granting of personal freedoms that most countries do not afford their citizens. America protects its citizens with their right to free speech, freedom to organize religion, and also the right to bear arms. These are just a few things that make America so great and why it is the greatest. The United States has been on the forefront of giving its citizens rights and protecting those rights with the Constitution. In most cases, the Constitution errs on the side of the citizen, as opposed to the federal government, which in a lot of countries is not the case. It's heavily federalist, and it's also going to protect the government at all costs. Whereas with the Constitution, the whole design of the Constitution is to protect the American people. Also, thanks to the 14th Amendment, anyone whom is born in this country is going to receive citizenship, which is another protection that is not totally exclusive, but almost exclusive to the U.S. If you look, for example, at the Dreamers, they have citizenship because they were born in this country, even though most of their parents or family come from Mexico. Another great example of how it works the opposite way when you're not protected is in the Dominican Republic right now. There are a large number of naturalized people who have lost their citizenship due to a lack of paperwork, even though they have birth certificates that say they were born there. Protecting citizens' rights is the only thing that makes the United States is not the only thing that makes the United States great. We also are world business leaders. Many of the great corporations of our time came from the U.S. For example, McDonald's, Johnson & Johnson, Apple, and Starbucks, who are industry leaders in each respective field. Without the free market capitalist economy that America was founded on, these companies would never have been in an environment where they could flourish and grow with so few federal restrictions. We're not the only capitalist society out there, but we are the biggest and the most powerful out of the group. We do it the best. America has given more charitably than any other country. It's almost an American tradition to attempt to assist those in need, even if the news attempts to convince us otherwise. If you just look at dollars and cents, we donate, and time, we donate vastly more than any other country. We will always be the melting pot of nationalities and cultures, which makes us the most grateful and diverse country. Now let's get to the fun stuff. I asked friends and family members to give me the top 3 reasons they love America. I got quite a few weird ones, but I also got some new stuff, and the answer I heard the most was football and kind of our sports scene. Of course, I'm talking about American football, which we all know is a way of life here in the U.S. The high school, college, and professional systems are enormous here. The NFL is the most profitable sports league in the world, with Chargers and Dolphins fans in Jerusalem and Barbados. It's the most widely spread sports franchise. Not just the NFL, but we also have the MLB, the NBA, PGA Tour, and NASCAR. All of these leagues and organizations are leaders in their respective sports. There's really no other foreign leagues that challenge these leagues. And if sports aren't your favorite, the United States is by far the largest producer and exporter of media content. We make the best movies, music, and television. There's a reason why those Germans still watch Baywatch. Another answer I heard repeatedly was America's diversity. I mentioned earlier that America is considered a melting pot, a place where almost every one of the world's cultures is represented in some way. Think about it. Where else can you walk down a single street and find a kebab shop next to an Italian sub shop, next to you name it? But it's not just the international fare that I'm talking about. We, in America, are the epicenter for some gastronomically incredible eats. We have created items such as the hamburger, donut, biscuits and gravy. Not the most diet-friendly foods, but foods that are still near and dear to Americans' hearts, as long as you don't eat them too much. We started the farm-to-table movement and have pushed, hopefully, to encouraging more sustainable food sources. We also protect species that are on their way to extinction and encourage procreation for animals that have a limited population. There's something about America that's just unique to America. We're a giant group of diverse individuals that have come together to create our American dreams. Whether it's to meet the love of your life and settle down to create a family in a safe community, or start a technology company and be the next Mark or Mindy Zuckerberg. Americans want the same thing, to live long and prosper, to quote a great American TV show. We respect each other, maybe not all the time, but we protect our own because they are American and that means something to us. Americans by no means are perfect, but I think we are still the greatest country in the world, with our protection of individual rights to our food cultures, embracing of diversity no matter the color of one's skin. There's still a lot of work for us to do to get to where we know where we want to be, but we are American and proud. Thank you very much.